ඔෆිස් එකේදී විතරක් නෙවෙයි මම දැන් ගෙදරදීත් IDD calls ගන්න SLT phone එකේ.
ඔබේ නිවසේ SLT දුරකථනය දැන් IDD පහසුකම සහිතයි.
Making headlines on First at 9. Taking precautionary measures. The tragic death of 5 persons at Hulu River in Kandy is an eye-opener to be more cautious.
Pick which areas are more dangerous than others and then obviously put up necessary strong messages.
Political developments. A UMP delegation tells the president that the UMP does not want to continue in the government with the team who voted against the premier. Strengthening the economy towards inclusive regional development. Central Bank Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy emphasizes the importance of small and medium enterprises.
SME development is the means through which we can have inclusive and regionally balanced development in this country.
Commonwealth Games. Already secured of a bronze medal, Anusha Kodituwaku will face India's Mary Kom for a shot at gold. Inhuman war. Dozens of women and children killed in suspected chemical attacks in Syria. Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Katharina Chang. Now on to your top story tonight. Minister Malik Samaravikrama has resigned from the chairmanship of the United National Party and has handed his letter of resignation to Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. The Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade stated that he stepped down from the position, paving way for party reforms. Meanwhile, the United National Party has requested President Maithripala Sirisena to remove all 16 Sri Lanka Freedom Party parliamentarians from their positions in the National Unity Government, who voted against the Prime Minister during the no confidence motion. Speaking at a media briefing today, UMP's Deputy General Secretary Minister Viraj Karivasam stated that the party objects to work with the ministers who voted in favour of the no confidence motion.
A special discussion to discuss the future of the government took place between President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe last night. The discussion was attended by UNP ministers Malik Samaravikrama, Akila Viraj Karyavasam and Mangala Samaravira. The UNP had expressed objection over the 16 SLFP ministers holding their ministerial positions within the government because they voted against the Prime Minister. Therefore, they requested the President to remove them from the government's portfolios. During the discussion, they have also agreed to a cabinet reshuffle before the coming Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Meanwhile, the UNP's working committee and the parliamentary group had a lengthy discussion over the party reforms at Temple Trees yesterday. UNP's Deputy General Secretary Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam said that the majority of the working committee members as well as the parliamentary group decided not to change the party leadership at this moment. As a result of the discussion, they appointed an advisory committee to recommend members for the party's high-ranking positions. The committee, which was appointed through a secret ballot, comprises of Ministers Ranjit Maduma Bandara, Akila Viraj Karyavasam, Mangala Samaravira, Navin Disanayaka, Harin Fernando, State Ministers Ajit P. Pereira, Iran Vikramaratna, Ruwan Vijayawardena, Deputy Minister J.C. Alavatuwala, and MPs Nalin Bandara and Ashoka Priyantha. The party's deputy leader Sajid Premadasa and assistant leader Ravi Karunanayaka have been officially appointed into the committee. Meanwhile, various views were expressed in the political arena regarding UNP reforms.
The constitution of the UNP states that if the party leader holds the presidency or the position of the premier, he definitely should be the leader of the party. Majority of them agreed that the premier should remain as the leader of the party. The officials of the party will remain in their positions up until the 30th of this month. A new set of officials will be appointed from the 1st of May. More than 90% of UNP politicians state that the Premier can remain in his position but to give the party leadership to someone else. He knows that his position of Prime Minister will be under threat if he gives the party leadership to someone else. The UNP will not be reformed. Prime Minister will reform all other positions except for his. We arrived at an agreement that there can no longer be everlasting leaders. There should be democracy within the party for the upcoming leaders. We protected our leader from the no-confidence motion. That doesn't mean that we approve the bond scam. UNP members feel the necessity of a new face that could take the party towards victory. The party should have a notable change, not illusions by just appointing committees. We are ready to resign if the required change does not happen.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that the SLFP intends to arrive at a final decision over the ministers who voted in favour of the no-confidence motion at the Central Committee meeting set to be held tomorrow. Commenting on their 16 SLFP ministers, MP Gunawardena further stated that holding positions within the government any longer is of no use.
Vasantha Senanayake and Range Bandara announced in public that they will vote in favour of the no-confidence motion. The SLFP leadership should have taken a clear decision. He had never stated his policy decision. Former opposition leader and Minister Nima Siripala requested the Prime Minister to resign. We knew that the decision was changed that very evening. However, the Central Committee of the SLFP will assemble tomorrow. We hope that the SLFP will take decisions on Minister S.P. Dissanayake and others who voted in favour of the motion. We also need to stress that there is no use of staying in the government any longer.
The National Alut Sahal Mangalya, which is the most venerated agricultural ritual of Sinhalese culture, was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena at the historical Jayashree Mahabodhiya in Anuradhapura this morning.
The Ministry of Agriculture and the Department of Agrarian Services have organised the National Alut Sahal Mangalya for the 51st time. The sacred Sri Mahabodhiya was offered the maiden harvest of Maha season under the guidance of Chief Incumbent of Atamasthana, Venerable Pallegama Sirinivasa Nayaka Thera. A large number of farmers from different parts of the country were present at the traditional ceremony. Blessings were invoked for the country and the nation at the event, with the wishes of timely showers, a bountiful harvest and for a prosperous economy for the country. The President, who attended the Alut Sahal Mangalya, initially paid homage to the sacred Sri Mahabodhiya and obtained blessings. Afterwards, the Venerable Mahasangha were offered a bowl filled with a toxin-free indigenous variety of rice. The pure honey bowl traditionally offered to the sacred Jayashree Mahabodhiya was handed over to the President by Uruwarige Vandilatto. Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena also participated in the Surya Abhishekya Megapolis Mega Aurudu, which was held at the Independence Square. The Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development has taken the initiative to hold this Mega Aurudu festival. A cycle race was also held where the President gave the start. Minister Patri Champika Ranawaka, Deputy Minister Karunaratna Parnavithana and several others also graced the New Year festival.
The bodies of the 5 persons who drowned in Hulu River at Panvilla in Kandy were handed over to their families today. The 5 individuals were swept away by strong river current yesterday after they had stopped to bathe in the Hulu River.
A group of garment workers in Hanvella had gone on a trip to Kandy yesterday. They had stopped to bathe near the Black Bridge of Daluoya, which is a branch of the Hulu River in Panvilla, at around 2:45 p.m. yesterday. 5 people, which included 3 women and 2 men, were swept away by a strong river current. People who came along with them and residents in the area made great efforts to save them, but was proved futile due to the intense flow of water. Later, the bodies were recovered following an extensive search operation. Residents said that the area had experienced heavy rain over the past few days, which had raised the water level of the river. The deceased were identified as 26-year-old Sherilyn Andrea, a resident of Ampitiya in Kandy, 26-year-old Gajana Shivanathan, a resident of Vellavatta, Fatima Nusha, aged 23, a resident of Ravatavatta, Susil Manjula, aged 30, a resident of Ganemulla, and 28-year-old Madhushan Priyankara, a resident of Kirindivella. The remains of the deceased were handed over to their families following the conclusion of the post-mortem. First at 9 contacted the Deputy Director of the Disaster Management Centre, Pradeep Kodipilli, on measures that have been taken to ensure the safety of people at such places which poses possible threats during rainy conditions.
When it is raining, those rivers will be very dangerous. So, and the water flows are very intensified, and people need to be very vigilant with that situation. And Disaster Management Center advises all the communities not to use any water-related areas the rain conditions. So, Met Department already advises the heavy rainfall could be expected in many areas of Sri Lanka. So, people still to be very vigilant with that situations because there are a lot of deaths being reported in this month. All the disaster management units of Sri Lanka conducting continuous alerting and awareness programs from around the country. We have a continuous monitoring program in many areas. And we have set up boats in most of the areas not to use those water. But I think it's very difficult to cover entire country and all the locations which is very unsafe. But with the heavy rain conditions, sometimes the better places could be converted as unsafe places.
Speaking to First at 9, the head of Nature Trails, Chitra Jayatilaka, stated that the government should be more involved in identifying such dangerous places and put up warnings to prevent such situations from occurring in the future.
When you're going into any natural environment, lack of awareness of what dangers may persist is a huge gap sometimes in our society. Rivers can have a lot of mud, waterholes or lakes can have a lot of mud, unknown currents, unknown holes where you might bathe and suddenly you will have a 10-foot drop. And this is where sometimes, very unfortunately, young lives are lost to the country. We must instill a lot of common sense in our children on how to enjoy nature. There is always an element that enjoyment may have a hidden element of risk. You need to know what that risk is and manage it so that you can almost be 100% safe. You might have certain water bodies, lakes and all where there is no proper strong warning, discouraging a new traveler in that area to get into it. And I think that's something where local government bodies can get involved. If you look at the last 10 years of history, you will easily pick 30 to 40 locations where everything bad has happened. So you can pick those things and get advice from environmentalists and scientists and adventure specialists and then pick which areas are more dangerous than others and then obviously put up necessary strong messages discouraging people not to get in if you don't know the conditions of the water.
Minister of Health, Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne says that digital and genetic technology within the health sector requires development in order to cater to the emerging needs of personalized medicine in the country. He made these remarks at an event held in Colombo last evening.
The 25th anniversary and the induction of the 25th President of the College of Medical Administrators of Sri Lanka was held last evening in Colombo. Dr. Sujatha Senaratne was inaugurated as the President of the College. The event was held under the auspices of Minister of Health, Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne.
Globally, healthcare systems are undergoing sweeping digital transformations. I am happy that we have already embarked on digital archiving and storage of medical records, soon to be followed by the issuance of an e-health card with all the medical details of the patient. We are now in the process of embarking on a personalized medicine program to cater to the emerging needs of the sector. Having the genetic content of an individual will allow better guided decisions in determining the source and cause of the disease and thus treating it or preventing its progression. Considering all the positive attributes of such an approach, I believe we should seriously consider establishment of a center molecular medicine in the country. Possibilities for digital and genetic technological development in the health sector are vast. However, our access to resources is limited, which makes it important to manage our limited resources prudently with foresight, a process which needs the guidance of experienced, task-oriented, dedicated medical administrators with team spirit.
The Government Information Department in a statement says that the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka has decided to launch an investigation over the acts of violence which took place in Kandy last month. Accordingly, the Human Rights Commission will accept written information from the affected parties or interested parties. The general public are allowed to present photographs, videos and voice cuts with comprehensive details. All evidence should be sent to the Regional Coordination Office of Kandy on or before the 21st of April. The address is Human Rights Commission number 8/1, Primrose Road, Peradeniya Road, Kandy. More details can be received by dialing 081 222 8009 or 070 3654901. The number for you once again is 0812228009 or 070-365-4901. On to some other local news now. A chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, Rama Sirivardhana, says that an additional 2,000 outstation buses will be in operation for the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. This service, which was made available since last Friday, will be operational till the 15th of April.
Chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, Rama Sirivardhana, said that employees from the SLTB head office as well as regional officers from Colombo, Kaltura and Gampaha have been deployed to overlook operations pertaining to the special bus service made available to the public for the new year.
The special bus arrangements for the Sinhala and Hindu New Year, we started on the 6th of April, that's last Friday, and up to now we have operated more than 100 additional buses. Though we have arranged more than 200 buses for the 3 days, we expect a large crowd from the 10th onwards. So we have pre-arranged 2,000 additional buses from 6th to 15th to run to outstation from Central Bus Station. The biggest crowd we expect from 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th. From 15th up to 24th, operating additional buses from various outstation destinations to Colombo on passenger requirement. We have deployed additional police as well as the military police, the Central Bus Station, and there will be plainclothes police officers guarding the premises. We have a police post at Central Bus Station. If there's any complaint, they can make a complaint to our inquiry office or the police post at the Central Bus Station.
Meanwhile, a special train service will be made available to the public for the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Railway Additional General Manager Vijay Samarasinghe said that a special train service will be in operation from Fort to Bandarawala on the 9th, 12th and 15th of this month. Meanwhile, a special train service from Bandarawala to Fort will be in operation on the 8th, 10th, 13th and 17th. He added that in view of the new year, a special train will be plying from Wayangoda to areas of Fort and Kalutara. On the 12th of April, a special train service will be made available to passengers travelling from Fort to areas of Kalutara, Jaffna, Gaul and Mathura.
Let's now take a look at some other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
Chairman of the Malabar Private Medical Colleges Parents Association, Gamana Vijayaratna, says they have made a decision to launch a fast unto death unless the issues faced by their children are not resolved by the 24th of this month. He stated this at a press conference held today in Colombo. A function was held this morning at the Valikada prison to construct a golden fence around the Bodhi tree. This was constructed on the request made by the senior superintendent at the Valikada prison, Chandana Ekanayaka's mother, and it was completed with the help of the inmates and relatives of the superintendent. Officers attached to the special task force seized a stock of refused tea which was to be exported. The stock of refused tea was to be exported under a false Sri Lankan standard certification. 4 individuals, inclusive of 2 school students, were arrested by the Badulla police after they had stolen clothes from a storeroom in a house located in the area of Madhapathana in Badulla. The clothes which were stolen amounted to 250,000 rupees. The All Island Farmers Federation states that several agreements have been reached at a discussion with the Plantation Industries Ministry to implement a new program to protect coconut lands. This was stated at a press conference by the national organizer for the All Island Farmers Federation, Namal Karunaratna.
Watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Welcome back to the news. Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, says that development of the small and medium sector is the means through which the region can achieve inclusive and regionally balanced development. He made these remarks at an event held in Uvaparanagama yesterday.
The inauguration ceremony of Ravana Agro Limited was held under the auspices of the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy. The company, which was established with the assistance of CBSL, aims to develop the floriculture sector in Uvaparanagama by way of providing financial and technological assistance to 400 self-employed floriculturists.
SMEs are the backbone of the Sri Lankan economy. Over 90% of the enterprises in Sri Lanka hire less than 5 people. So if the SME sector prospers and thrives, the whole country becomes prosperous. SME development is the means through which we can have inclusive and regionally balanced development in this country. That is the objective that we all need to strive for, and we cannot achieve that objective without upgrading the performance of SMEs.
The Boavo Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2018, also known as Asia's Davos, opened in South China's Hainan province this morning. The forum, scheduled from April 8 to 11th of this month in Boavo, a town in the southern island province of Hainan, will be held under the theme Open and Innovative Asia for a World Greater Prosperity this year. Around 2,000 guests from over 60 countries and regions will be attending the conference, along with representatives from more than 100 of the world's top 500 companies. Chinese President Xi Jinping is widely expected to announce major economic reforms when he gives the keynote speech at the Boavo Forum for Asia on Tuesday. The forum will focus on four main areas, namely globalization and the Belt and Road Initiative, and Open Asia, innovation and reform. More than 60 seminars will be held at the event this year. According to the Boavo Forum for Asia, Secretary General Zhu Wenzhong, flagship projects of the Belt and Road Initiative such as the Gwadar port in Pakistan and China, Europe freight trains will be highlighted at the forum. In addition to economy, this year's forum will also cover such areas as culture, art, public services and sports. Analysts expect the market to be positive and investor confidence to increase. However, market activity will be low due to the festive season. Here is Dimantha Matthew from First Capital Holdings bringing you the forecast for the new week.
We expect market to be on a more positive note with increased investor confidence, the political uncertainty easing off and some sort of stability returning to the system. However, we expect activity levels to be comparatively low with the festive season being around the corner, and most investors who were on the sidelines are likely to slowly return to the market with the increased investor confidence that is likely to return to the market. We also believe that foreign buying interest is likely to remain in the market. However, investor interest is likely to be mostly in blue chip counters.
The US has called on Russia to end its support for the Syrian regime after more than 70 people were killed in an alleged chemical attack. Volunteer Rescue Service, the White Helmets, said that many of the victims of the alleged attack yesterday were women and children.
At least 70 people have died in a suspected chemical attack in Douma, the last rebel-held town in Syria's eastern Ghouta. Several medical monitoring and activist groups reported details of a chemical attack, but figures vary and details of what happened are still emerging. It blamed a barrel bomb allegedly dropped by a helicopter which it said contained sarin, a toxic nerve agent. A spokeswoman said reports on the ground suggested a much higher number of around 180 dead, but that it was hard to reach victims. She said there were reports of people being treated for symptoms including convulsions and foaming of the mouth, consistent with nerve or mixed nerve and chlorine gas exposure. The US State Department said that Russia, with its unwavering support for Syria's government, ultimately bears responsibility for the alleged attacks. Syria and Russia have called the allegations of a chemical attack a fabrication.
3 people have died and 20 more injured after a van ploughed into a group of people sitting outside a restaurant in the old town of Münster in western Germany yesterday. The driver died after shooting himself at the scene. Some reports said that police found a suspicious object in the van, with authorities heading to the suspect's home to carry out further investigations.
Police continue to investigate the scene today where a man drove a van into a group of people sitting outside a restaurant in the old city centre of Münster in western Germany yesterday, killing 2 of them before shooting himself dead. Authorities all but ruled out any Islamist connections for the suspect. Police also identified the 2 victims killed in the incident as a 51-year-old woman and a 65-year-old man. The public broadcaster ZDF suggested he had links with far-right extremists, but said he was not known to be one himself. German media reports also said the man had mental health problems, something state authorities have neither confirmed nor denied. Meanwhile, Chancellor Angela Merkel said in a statement that she was deeply shaken by the incident. The incident came 1 year to the day after a truck attack in Stockholm that killed 5 people.
Let's now take a look at some of the emerging stories from across the world.
One man has died and 4 firefighters have been injured in a blaze at Trump Tower in New York. The victim was a male resident of the building who died after being taken to hospital. The death toll from a bus crash in Canada day before yesterday, which was transporting a junior hockey team, has risen to 15. Details have been slow to trickle out in the wake of the tragedy, and the identities of the deceased have not yet been released by authorities. President Vladimir Putin attended Easter Mass led by Patriarch Kirill overnight at Russia's main Christ Savior Cathedral in central Moscow. The Orthodox world marks Easter this year a week later than the Catholic and Protestant churches. Putin joined the believers for the overnight vigil in the company of Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, his wife Svetlana and Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin. The Zoosphere 2018, an international trade fair of food, goods and services for pets, opened yesterday in the Russian city of St. Petersburg. Held in the Expo Forum Convention and Exhibition Center, the event attracted more than 10,000 pets from 30 countries, which made it the largest pet fair in Russia.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Welcome back to the news. The 4th day of the 2018 Commonwealth Games came to an end today at Gold Coast in Australia. 2 of Sri Lanka's top female representatives made their names well known at this year's Commonwealth Games.
First, it was Anusha Kodituaku who defeated Brandy Barnes in the semi-finals of the women's 45 to 48 kilogram boxing category in Oxenford Studios at the Gold Coast 2018 Commonwealth Games. Kodituaku knocked down the Cayman Islands girl twice in the opening round as referee Valery Pastuov stopped the contest, awarding the victory to the Sri Lankan. Already secured of a bronze medal, Kodituaku will face India's Mary Kom, who defeated Megan Gordon in 5 rounds in the semi-final. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's squash sensation Mihilia Metsarani was beaten 3-1 in the finals against Megan Best of Barbados. Nevertheless, this is considered the highest achievement by a Sri Lankan woman in squash in the history of the Commonwealth Games.
It was a perfect start for the Indian Premier League at Wankhede Stadium yesterday as Chennai Super Kings recorded a stunning 1-wicket win against Mumbai Indians. Chasing 166, the visitors emerged victorious with a ball to spare and had Dwayne Bravo to thank for playing an IPL classic when all hope looked lost. In the very latest of the IPL, the match between Kolkata Knight Riders and Royal Challengers Bangalore are currently underway at the Eden Gardens. Batting first, Royal Challengers Bangalore are currently on 176 for the loss of 5 wickets.
IPL 2018 all over the...
Batting first, Mumbai Indians scored 165 for the loss of 4 wickets, riding on Krunal Pandya's 41 off 22 balls, along with useful contributions of 43 from Surya Kumar Yadav and 40 from Ishan Kishan. In reply, Chennai Super Kings lost quick wickets and struggled to build up strong partnerships. When all hope seemed lost for CSK, Dwayne Bravo turned the match on its head through an incredible innings. Bravo blasted 68 from just 30 balls, leading the Chennai Super Kings to an incredible comeback. Bravo's dismissal, however, at the end of the 19th over with his team needing a further 7 runs, swung the pendulum in favour of Mumbai once again. Kedar Jadhav, who had retired hurt earlier in the innings, returned at the fall of Bravo's wicket. Jadhav finished the match in style by getting over the line with 1 ball to spare.
Off the sick bed, and he wins the game for the Chennai Super Kings. Welcome back to the men in yellow. They have come to Mumbai and...
We now have Dinesh Bongso at the Other Derana Weather Centre with your forecast first evening edition.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
A very good evening and welcome to Forecast First. Your temperatures tomorrow will vary between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius. There is a low pressure zone in the vicinity of Sri Lanka, particularly in the eastern coastal belt, and will gradually move inwards over the next 24 hours. There is heavy precipitation, particularly in the central region of the island. Wet weather is expected in the northern region of the island, with thundershowers to be expected in the Trincomalee, Batticaloa, Anuradhapura and Mannar districts as well. Meanwhile, the districts of Kandy and Galle can expect some thundershowers as well. That's it from your weather centre tonight. Up next is your City by City forecast.
Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
That's all from us at First at 9. But before we leave you, we would like to take you to the 3-day Qingming Festival in China, which ended today. In East China's Jiangsu province, cherry blossoms are in full bloom and at Yangcheng City, the Yangwan Park. In neighbouring Zhejiang province, blooming peonies welcome visitors from nearby cities and villages to spend the day in the embrace of flowers. We hope you enjoy these visuals and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.